Welcome to another episode of Just for the Modders. Thank you everybody for tuning in. On today's video, we will be modifying the Proxima MM300 homage. In my last video, I did modify the MM300 from Steel Dive, and so this video is going to be really interesting. It's going to be a comparison between the two mechanically in terms of how they are modded. Now, if it's your first time watching this channel, then please hit that subscribe button and remember to hit the notifications bell. Also leave a comment in the video section, hit the like if you do enjoy what you see. And remember to check the description for any links. I am an affiliate of AliExpress, so there might be any relevant links within the description. So please do click on those and check them out. Now, I want everyone to sit back, relax and watch me get to work. So the dial we're going to be using today is made by a company called Dial Maker. They're based in Hong Kong, and if you're on the Facebook groups and the Instagram, they will pop up. They're easy to find. Now the dial in particular, I ordered secondhand actually myself on eBay, so I didn't pay the full price, which is always a bonus. And I've got this Proxima with me. Now this Proxima, I've had it for well over a year. It's one of the first homage watches that I bought from AliExpress, and I absolutely love it to bits. I think it's made really well, and you know, even internally when we open it, you'll see there has been a lot of thought gone into making this watch. So specs wise, obviously double dome sapphire crystal, ceramic bezel insert. You've got full 316L stainless steel. The case is a monoblock case, so we will need to remove the top in order to go in. Drill lugs on the case, amazing polishing, amazing finish. Now, the Steel Dive MM300 that I did, I ran into quite a lot of problems with that, but with this watch, as you'll see, there will be no problems. The dial itself, matte black, it's got the red 300 meters written at the bottom, printed logo, applied indices, a very high quality dial indeed. So just using some cleaning up clay just to remove any debris, bits of dust, and we should be ready to go. Now, in order for us to begin, we will have to pop off that bezel. Just use a bezel opening tool. What I would advise caution is use a bit of insulation tape, apply it underneath before you slip that tool in. Now that the bezel has come off, you'll see that wire that is responsible for the clicks. We can just go ahead and put that to the side. I'll show you the full assembly once we've completed the mod. The crystal is held in place with this screw down bracket. Now the screw down is clockwise in order for you to take it off. Now, because I've had this watch for over a year, this case tool wasn't happening, so I had to use a bench case back remover tool. I will do a separate video on that, reviewing that. Very good tool, so I'll take it off camera, get that crystal off, and then we'll carry on with the rest of the video. Now that that's done, we can go ahead, open the crystal, screw it off, put that to the side face down as I have done to prevent any dirt ingress. Now, as you can see, this is the watch opened, very easily done. Let's have a closer look. Once we open the crown, you'll see the first difference that isn't present on the Steel Dive, and that's this little screw here. So you've got a sleeve which holds two ends off the actual stem. Now this is why I believe Proxima are the best, because to my knowledge, no other brand, like even San Martin or Heimdall, have thought of this. So as you saw in the Steel Dive video, you know, the stem broke and it just makes your job twice as long. But with this, all you've got to do, unscrew it slowly, make sure you don't lose a little collar, and go ahead, just pull the stem out. But because we don't need to do that, we're not going to open that out. We don't need to take the movement out, but I really do appreciate that Proxima have gone to those lengths and included that. So we just need to hack the movement now, the seconds hand at 12 o'clock, and rotate the hands to the 12 o'clock position before we go ahead and remove. Now I like to use those little plastic bags to put over the dial to prevent damage. Now that bag has seen its fair bit of use, so it's worth replacing it. You could cause damage to the hands and the dial, which you don't want to do. Even though we're removing it, it's never nice just to damage parts unless you really have to. So go ahead, get those hand removers right underneath the actual pinion and pop off. We can put the hands to the side. I've got a bit of a really nice soft cloth here. I'll just keep the hands until I need them again. Now we just need to go ahead and carefully pry that dial off the actual movement and the movement holder. So you can just get any tool underneath. There goes the chapter ring, just took that off. I thought it would be stuck down, but on the Proxima it actually isn't stuck to the dial, it's just slotted on. So we can go ahead and remove that, and then we just need to get underneath the dial and pry it off. Before we do, let's have a closer look at this chapter ring. Now the first thing you can notice is it's got slots at the 12 and 6, and it's actually not made out of plastic, it's made out of some kind of metal, possibly brass or aluminium. Now just have a closer look at the dial. You can see there's also ears on the dial at 12 and 6. So there might be an issue when we do replace it with the aftermarket dial, but we can go ahead, remove it gently, being careful not to scratch it. This is a matte finished dial, so possibly powder coated, I'm assuming. So if you do get a scratch on there, it is very, very visible. Let's go ahead, carefully pry it off. Now once that has been removed, it's worth getting the dial that you want to replace it with. Just double check the position of the dial feet. But remember, if the dial feet are not in the right place or they're broken, you can just use adhesive dial dots, as I've done in my previous videos. Go ahead, place the replacement dial within the correct holes on the movement, and pretty simple, you know, we're nearly there. So we've done most of the work right now. So just insert it, make sure the alignment is correct, just double clean the dial, just double check quality of the dial, etc., and make sure you're happy with the way it's looking. Now once you're happy with the dial, we need to go ahead and put the chapter ring on. So let's try with the original chapter ring that was already on the Proxima. As I said before, there are 2 slots on there, and we want to see if it does fit. Now this is where I hit my first obstacle, let's say. So the chapter ring, because it's not plastic, you can't flex it to make it fit around the whole dial, and because the dial that replaced it with does not have those ears, the chapter ring unfortunately did not match. One for me that shows, you know, it's a testament to Proxima. They've designed the chapter ring with the dial, that level of detailing and manufacturing. Sure, it's appreciated, but in this case, it's no good. The chapter ring is not sitting on the dial, nor is it correctly aligned. So after having a bit of a think, I did remember that I do have the spare dial from Steel Dive that I kept with the black chapter ring and the green dial. I managed to get that chapter ring out and managed to fit that on really well, and that was the solution. So pretty easy fix, but granted I had the right chapter ring at hand. If I didn't, I don't know what I would have done. So now let's go ahead and reassemble the watch. We start off with, of course, the hour hand. Now the handsets I've stuck with the ones on the Proxima, there's no need to buy any more. Really well finished hands, fit really well as well. There was no issues. It actually didn't take me as long as it usually does. So go ahead, let's make sure the 12 o'clock is aligned, and we follow up with the mini hand, and then we finish off with the seconds hand. Between each stage, make sure that you clean the hands, clean the dial, and remember to check for alignment after you've done the hour hand and the minute hand. Make sure the hands hit every indice, focusing on 12, 3, 6, and 9. Make sure they hit the marker square on. If not, they're very easy to readjust. You don't want to keep going back into the watch, so I can't stress enough at this point. Make sure your alignment is correct and each and every hand is level and no hands are touching. Now once you're happy with how everything is running and you're confident that everything is okay, now we can go ahead, start putting the crystal back on. Very easy, just place it on top, start screwing it counterclockwise, and make sure the thread does meet and you're not going against the thread. Just be gentle with it, of course. Once you've screwed it on and it doesn't go any further, but by just applying finger pressure, go ahead, use that sticky ball that we have for the case backs and just tighten it, but don't over tighten, because the actual crystal, the actual metal frame will sit on the chapter ring and you don't twist anything out of shape. So just make sure it's enough, and once you're happy with that, we can go ahead and start putting the bezel back on. Now, I've done a video just on the mechanisms used by a lot of AliExpress watches, and these mechanisms are also used by other brands, some higher up brands indeed. Now, this watch in particular, I've opened and closed it a few times, so the actual wire is kind of difficult and it is quite fiddly. You'll see now, I'll just speed up through the process, but you'll see it did take me a few tries to actually get the bezel on. So I just use a screwdriver to hold it down because the wire does pop out, so I've got to keep it down and just rotate it on and press it down. It is a bit of a fiddle, but they're not all like that. Once you get your hands really good at doing it, it is quite simple to do. But it's one of those things, practice does make perfect. So we are done. Mod completed, very easy. Obviously we just had that snag with the chapter ring, but there is an alternative measure. I think with the dial, some of the aftermarket dials do come with ears, so it's worth checking them out. And it's also worth mentioning that the actual Proxima dial is slightly smaller than 28.5, and that chapter ring is recessed on the inside, so it actually just fit perfectly for that dial. So there needs to be a different measure. I have seen a couple of other modders do something different, but I think they've managed to get a dial with the ear, so the chapter ring does slot on top. So once you're happy with the functionality, the way the bezel's moving, you've checked the date function, you've checked the alignment, just keep an eye out for dust. As you know, the most important part of this process is to keep checking at every stage, so you don't have to go back and fix anything. So there we have it, a completed Proxima MM300 modification. And as you'll all agree, it is a stunning watch, and I think Proxima is the best MM300 homage out there, just with the internals, never mind the aesthetics. I've had this watch for over a year, so it's had a few add-ons. This that you can see, the titanium Seiko clasp, I found it on eBay, but I have seen some of them on AliExpress, so I'll add the link in the description. I'll also link in the description the Proxima AliExpress store, so feel free to purchase this or the Gilt version. Solid watch if you're a fan of the actual genuine Seiko model. You know what, this gives you enough of that experience. It's all about the looks for me. Very solid built, bezel action, everything is just superb on this watch. I can't say enough how good this watch is, to be honest. It is one of my favorite watches out of AliExpress, no doubt. Everything has been built and finished to a very high quality, down to the surface on the hands, you know, this crown, that extension tube. So it just goes to show that there are a few brands out there that do pay, you know, great attention to detail. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I did enjoy working on this watch. I enjoyed making this. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit a like if you liked the video, and make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for further upcoming modifications. Thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.